Playboy's got a bourbon. What are we going to do now?
Get a sample. And
that's not the only sample that's come from the Playboy Mansion.
Damn.
Oh. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry. With me this week is Eric, the Whiskey Mutant Smith.
Believe it. I'm here.
or don't, I guess. I mean,
you don't have to believe it.
Even if you don't believe it, it's still true.
Like, believe it.
Oh, I thought you were holding up like a finger gun.
No, I'm Naruto. Believe it.
My camera's a lot... I'm just thinking how my camera's a lot closer than yours is.
What if I just disappeared right now? I just did a jutsu and I just disappeared.
You turned into a firework? Jeez Louise. We're recording this the night before Independence Day here in the United States of America. So if you are one to celebrate, we hope you had a great 4th of July. I am currently not having a great 4th of July because there's a lot of fireworks going off around me. I'm hoping that my child doesn't wake up. I'm really hoping that my dogs are not freaking the heck out like they normally do with fireworks. But here's the thing. It's also after 11 p.m. So...
And I'm just hoping nobody blows their fingers off and they don't call me and go, you know what, we are so backed up here at work that you have to come into work and help with these idiots who just blew their hands off. So hopefully you're not one of those people.
Don't be, and if you are, thank you for listening.
Yeah. And if you're in the hospital listening right now, I'm sorry for calling you an idiot. Enjoy the show.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much for being here. Subscribe to the show if you haven't already. If you're returning, hello. It's good to see you. If you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, please do like the video, hit the bell notification, tell your friends, leave a comment, all that dadgum
just
stuff.
Like those kids say,
smash that like button. Just hit it. Just break it. Break the bell notification so that it doesn't work for you and YouTube has to come to your house and say, what did you do to our platform?
And you get a new phone or a computer that you just broke. And then sign up as a different person and then go subscribe to the show again under your new account.
Sign up as the Whiskey Mutant on YouTube. Do you know who has the Whiskey Mutant now? Because that account got deleted.
Somebody deleted the Whiskey Mutant?
Well, I think the original person that made it deleted it, and now somebody else is holding on to the Whiskey Mutant.
No?
Go look it up right now.
Oh, my God. I thought this was not a thing anymore.
Here's the thing. I don't know if this is going to piss you off or make you happy that somebody that we know is holding on to it. But somebody we know is holding on to it.
Don the sheet. I'm not mad at that at all. Because I feel like he's protecting it for me.
I feel like that too. Like
he's like like my protector.
Not that the other person or persons.
No, he could have totally... I could have seen him one night being bored, having a few drinks, and totally going on a rampage, putting my picture on there, and acting like he's me, and then me waking up to messages saying, what the hell have you done on Instagram?
It would be really funny if
I was waiting on that.
It'd be really funny if he had taken, like, an image of your face and, like, using a face filter or something, put it over his... so that it looked like you were the actual one saying everything.
I would have hated that so bad.
It would have been really uncomfortable. It would have been really weird. You know what's not uncomfortable, though, is Flying Blind, which is one of the segments that we normally start the show out with. It's either Flying Blind or Sips and Snacks this week. We are doing a little special Flying Blind.
Yeah.
Mr. David Levine, whom we just did a review of, the seagrass barrel seagrass. That's really how you should say it.
The $500 one.
The gold label one. We did a review of that. You can watch the video here on YouTube or listen to the audio of it in the main podcast audio feed. We did that review. Thank you, David, so much for being a part of that with us. He also was kind enough to send us his Christmas in July Advent calendar.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I was gone for the first couple days of July, and Eric and I just did day 3 as of recording. And so we are getting caught up on days 1 and 2 during Flying Blind. And also, I really buried the lead here. You should also go listen to David's podcast, the Whiskey Ring podcast. He's a really good interviewer.
He sent little notebooks in here and a pen. I'll drop my pen. Jeez.
Jeez, man.
But yeah,
stickers,
notebooks, the labels and everything are cool. Like it was very profesh.
It was nice to get a profesh. You got me saying it. Package like that.
I got a professional package.
All right, let's move on to these. All right.
Number 1, day 1, right?
Day 1.
I have not. Neither one of us have seen any of the day 1 or 2 posts on Facebook.
No, David also does a reveal on his Facebook group where he lets everybody know what these are. And we've like I said, we've only done day 3, so we have no clue what days 1 or 2 are. So
I wonder if I could text him and say, "Send me the answers," so we don't have to try to play the video.
That would help. That would help. Day 1.
Tell me about it.
Is weird because it's reading kind of soapy.
Soapy.
Like Irish Spring.
All right, let's see here. Let's see. Day 1 here.
I think from time to time that is you know what I mean? I think from time to time that is a quality of a rye whiskey, too.
That smells
it's something that I've gotten on
grass.
ryes before. Ooh, mowed grass. That's good.
Like, and it's not dry either. Like you've mowed like a section, and you got to empty the bag, and it's got kind of like moisture. It's got dew on it. You mowed it in the morning. Yeah, mowed grass. Pretty light on the palate.
I think there's some heat on the back end, though.
Yeah, the finish kind of hits you on the back sides of your tongue.
Yeah,
like
that's where it starts to kind of come through as more of a high proofer.
I think it's a rye too.
Oh, I think for sure it's a rye.
It's got a little bit of like kind of like, okay, this is weird, and it's weird that this popped up into my head, but like, honest to God, this is what popped up. Do you remember, the cheap little suckers that you'd get at like the bank? They would give you, what are those called? Like Dum-Dums?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
This tastes like that brown one that was like a root beer, and it was not very good at all. It had this brown weird taste.
Sorry, David, your first sample is not very good at all, according to Eric.
That's the first thing that popped into my head.
I know. I think this might be an MGP rye.
MGP rye. It's definitely a rye. I don't know if it's 95.5.
If it's not, backup guess, I would say it's a Jack Daniel's rye.
And I feel like
I don't dislike this. I like it quite a bit, honestly.
It's growing on me.
Yeah, I don't think it tastes like a very, really bad sucker that you get from a bank drive-thru.
That's what I'm sticking with it.
No, it is kind of like a flat root beer note.
Yeah. Yeah, there is this little weird root beer note on it.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't messaged me back yet. I guess we can go to 2, and then we can try to get the answers.
If he doesn't respond, I guess we're gonna have to go to the videos.
Yeah. Oh, this smells remarkably better to me. This is deep and rich. Reminds me of something we had on pre-games. Like it's like a dark.
Yeah.
There's like a dark. This is almost like a molasses, like kind of like a syrup.
I'm going like chocolate truffles on the nose.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, dark syrup. It's kind of like dark and syrupy.
There's a little bit of a like a cooking spice, not baking spice, but cooking spice.
Gotcha.
On the nose too, kind of like a basil-y oregano kind of thing.
Oregano.
It's like Italian seasoning.
Italian. Yeah, I mean isn't he Italian or something? Isn't he?
He's Jewish.
For some reason I thought he was Italian.
We talk a lot in the group chat about how he's Jewish.
I don't pay attention sometimes.
That's fine. That's totally fair. No, he's Jewish. Can you be in a?
Is that right?
Huh?
Is that right?
I don't even. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning. I'm trying.
Let's just. Let's just move it along, shall we?
Okay. Oh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot better than that one, the first one.
I actually don't like the palate as much. I think it falls.
Well, you know what? I do.
It falls a little flat for me.
I think it's a Jack Daniel's product.
I kind of think you're right.
But I don't think it's a. I think it's like a. What proof were the other picks that aren't barrel proof? Were they 94?
Yeah, 90s? I think it's like 95. Let me confirm real quick.
Kind of reminds me of that. It's got a little bit of a finish, but not a long finish. And the palate is kind of, what would I say? A little nutty, but chocolatey. Little nuts and chocolate.
Oh, here we go. Dang it. Never mind.
Oh. Anyway, I think it's like a 94, 95 proof.
Yeah, I think
Jack
so too.
Daniel's something.
I'm pretty sure as well. But we'll be talking more about Jack Daniel's in the later part of this episode. However, before we get there, I say we go ahead and we find out what these are.
Okay, well.
Would you agree?
Yep, he didn't message back. He's not seen it yet, so I'm assuming he is not online.
All right. Do you want to find out what 1 is, or do you want to find out what 2 is?
Yeah, I'm going to find out what this this sucker is.
So you want to go with number 1?
Yeah, I'll go with number
All right,
1.
I'll go with number 2 then. So day 2 was in fact a Jack Daniel's product.
I knew it.
But it was the Jack Daniel's Gold Label, export only. Goes through the Lincoln County process. But then a secondary one that makes it like Gentleman Jack, which I don't like, which explains why I don't like this.
Yeah, there you go.
And then finished in maple barrels. I'm not really getting a lot of sweetness that I guess I would have with a maple barrel finish.
I thought it smelled like syrup on that nose.
I could see it on the nose, but not so much on the palate, personally. But just a very below average drinker for me. I am just not a fan. And I mean, even blind, I think this kind of reiterates my point that I dislike Gentleman Jack. I think Gentleman Jack is one of the worst products on the market. Truth be
I don't know
told.
if I've ever had it by itself.
Oh, it's
Like,
horrible.
I feel like I've had a cocktail or something.
It's so bad. You can get just a little airplane bottle from Total Wine, and that's all that you need. So, what about number 1?
All right, number 1. Let's see here. Still Austin cast strength, and I'm still yet to find the Texas whiskey that I like. So
Fair enough.
it tasted like stale root beer.
I like it. I enjoy that one. So far, day 1 has been my favorite of the 3 days.
Day 2 for me, definitely.
So day 3, I think we both said
We both were not.
not for me. No say I. I'm hoping that for day 4, since it is the birth of America, and we should be celebrating with America's native spirit.
It's probably like a Canadian whiskey or something.
That would be really funny.
He would just mess. He would do that.
It's just an English whiskey. That would be David. That would be David indeed. But you know what else would be? That's a terrible segue. What have you been drinking recently?
Man, we both been on vacation mode.
We have. This is the first time that we've recorded in 2.5 weeks. So we've got a lot of news to get to. We got a little bit of catching up we're going to do before we get there. I'm going to be drinking on probably a Russell's pick while we're doing this as well.
I'm just going to finish the rest of this Jack Daniels that he sent.
Well, it's your funeral.
Whatever. Drink some Texas whiskey.
What have you been drinking, Eric?
Well, I was in Disney for vacation, as you know, most people on the podcast know that. Yeah, big Disney fan. But I will say I drank a lot of Maker's Mark because at the airport in Covington is where I flew out of. Corkin. What is it? What's the Covington store? Corkin bottle, Corkin keg.
Cork keg. Right?
Corkin bottle.
Cork barrel?
Barrel, maybe. Either way, there's a store, and they have an airport shop. And what I usually do is I get through security, and then I go to their shop, and you can buy full bottles of stuff. Like they got picks and all that stuff. Well, we flew out so early they weren't open yet, so I did not get to get a bottle of bourbon to take with me on my carry-on to get to the vacation. Luckily, we were staying at in Disney. We were staying at Riverside, Port Orleans, and in the gift shop they had Maker's Mark. They had Jim Beam White Label and Jack Daniels. So I chose Maker's Mark.
Maker's is definitely the move there.
Yeah. And so that was a little bit that I'd have on the side here and there. I'd take a little bit to the pool with me. But at the bar, they had their new Knob Creek Parks and Resorts Single Barrel Select, which I probably drank at least half of that bottle all week because I got to know the bartenders, and they would I'd buy a pour, and then what I would do is at the end of the night when we got back from the parks, I would do my little like I called it, like my little just like reflection of the night. Like I would leave the room, everybody's in bed, and I would walk to the main building where food and the restaurants are and stuff like that, and I would fill our water bottles up for the next day because we would take our water bottles in. And I would stop at the bar, sit down, have a little bit of Knob Creek, and then they would always give me a pour to go for free, just to, like, being nice. Like, here, I'm going to top you off, and they'd put it in a plastic cup, and I could walk with it. So it was so good. I had so much of that Knob Creek. I had a lot of, like, cocktails and stuff. Always got to get my Joffrey's cold brew in the morning at the parks that have...
Your special cold brew.
Yeah, my special cold brew. So if you're at Disney... and you're either in Epcot, Animal Kingdom...
Disney hack.
Disney hack, here we go. You know, everywhere but Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom does not have spirits like at the stands. Every other park you can get cocktails.
They don't have beer at stands either, right?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They only have beer in certain restaurants at Magic Kingdom. That's it. Beer and wine at certain restaurants. You can't walk around with it, officially. But... if you go to the other three parks, there's cocktail stands everywhere, beer stands everywhere. But I always start the day off with Joffrey's cold brew, and it's called a Jamaican Shaken, and they put your choice of like cream in it. Well, they have spirits there that you can make any drink you want spirits. So, 7:30 a.m. or 8 o'clock when we get in the park, cold brew. Hold the Irish cream. I want the Baileys. You put Baileys, have them put Baileys in it. Then you have them put 2 shots of Jameson in it. So you've got like an Irish cream cold brew.
Hold on. When you say hold the Irish cream, do you mean the non-alcoholic?
Non-alcohol, yeah.
Oh, okay. There we go.
The Jamaican Shaken is the cold brew with a creamer in it. But I tell them I don't want the normal creamer. I want the Baileys. I want the alcoholic creamer. And then put some Jameson in it because that's the whiskey they have. They have vodka and Jameson. And then that is my cold brew to get started. But I will say, I got to pull it up here. One thing that this is the first time I'd had this cocktail, and I did not know about it. And I don't know if it's new or what. But when we went to Epcot, you got to start, when you go to the World Showcase, you got to start on the side of Mexico and get you a margarita.
The left side. Yep.
The left side. Go ahead.
The first time that I went to Disney World, we went to Mexico, and there were a bunch of underage girls who had fake IDs that went into Mexico, and they got kicked out because they found out that they had fake IDs. And it was hysterical to watch. It was really, really funny.
Oh, Lord.
To watch.
But I always go, and there's a tequila bar in the Pyramid in Mexico that they have, like, you can get, like, the top quality tequila if you want, but they make some of the best margaritas. I skip the stand on the outside, go inside, get a legit tequila or a margarita, drink it, walk around while I'm in the Pyramid. Then I get on the Three Caballeros ride and ride it. But they had a corn old fashioned on the menu.
That's right. You were telling me about this.
Yes. This is the ingredients. I'm going to mess up these words, and I apologize. Abasalo corn whiskey, Casa Noble Respondo tequila.
Reposado.
Okay, Reposado. Lost Irish whiskey. Nixta a latte liqueur. And then this was the kicker for me. Wilderness Trail rye whiskey and umami bitters. This thing was amazing. It was one of the sweetest old fashions I've ever had. I think because of all the corn whiskey in it. But the corn whiskey with that Wilderness Trail rye was crazy. Like, one of the best cocktails I've ever had. So if it's there and you're going to Epcot and you're listening, get the corn old fashioned at Mexico.
Man,
so good.
I gotta try that. We won't be in the other parks until probably end of next year. Because our plan is to go for Eden's 3rd birthday, because for anybody who doesn't know, children who are under 3 at Disney World get in for free.
Yep.
So we figured it would be fun to take her for her actual 3rd birthday and take like our whole family and everything and just have it be a big old daggum fun celebration together.
My kids were 3 until they were at least 5.
If Eden's small enough, we can get away with it. Then, yeah. But we're going to be in Disney at this point next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to be just in Magic Kingdom, but we wanted to take Eden together on our own for her first time to Disney World, and it's more for us than it is for her right now, but gonna try not to get teary while I'm talking about it.
Me and April have already planned our next trip for our anniversary.
Anyway,
food and wine festival, baby.
Heck yeah.
What have you been drinking?
Well, I've been drinking a lot. because I just got back from a trip. I just got back from a vacation. I planned so that I had kind of like something for everybody, right? And I hadn't used it before. I used the podcast bottle bag. That
they gave you a barrel.
Yeah, they gave me a barrel. The podcast bottle bag, which is a backpack, and I brought along. And it, like I said, it was kind of in steps, but I brought along a Benchmark single barrel, JW Dant. I brought a handle of Dant. I grabbed a bottle of Rare Breed, which did not make it home with me because that was what I had most days. And then I took a couple bottles of Benchmark Foolproof because you got to have something to end your night with. Just because. You got to end your night with something. And I mean, I drink a lot of Sam Adams, drink a lot of Miller High Life. It was a good week. I had a little bit of White Claw too. So I hope nobody skewers me.
Getting ready for that colonoscopy. I tried one today.
Just a regular White Claw?
It was a mango one.
What'd you think?
Didn't like it.
It's
the aftertaste. It's the aftertaste.
No, it's the fake sugar. I get it. I totally get it. And there are a lot of seltzers out there that suck. I mean, they're just absolutely terrible. The one seltzer that I have really liked, and of course it's because it's made with whiskey, is Sip Honey. Sip Honey. And it's a seltzer pre-made canned cocktail with honey and rye whiskey. And it's phenomenal. They've got one that's got like a coffee blend in it so that you get a little bit of caffeine with your cocktail, but then their basic one is just rye whiskey, seltzer, and honey, and it's delicious. They started, I think, like right before the pandemic, and we had talked about getting their founder on the podcast at that time. I think actually like midway through the podcast, or through the pandemic. So we'll have to bring up those conversations again because I love what they're doing, and it should be celebrated as well. Celebrate. Let's do a little bit of a housekeeping before we get into the news, if you don't mind. First off, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who listened to all of our bonus episodes for Big June. Big June. Lots of bonus episodes. We did basically 4 straight weeks of bonus episodes. They all varied in time greatly. We had some that were about 10 to 15 minutes, some that were over 40. And we just appreciate the fact that everybody tuned into those, watched those videos, all that good stuff. We will be doing a lot more YouTube content, of course, coming up, especially because we're filming the podcast now. We might get to the point where I edit down the podcast video to just kind of like a highlight reel for each episode, do some fun stuff with it. But I mean, I also don't mind just throwing up the episode as it is on YouTube either. So just kind of depends on what people want to check out. Even if we isolate some of the reviews and whatnot, we could definitely do that.
Just take everything out of context, and you just make me look horrible.
I could do that. I could
with
all of the audio and
power.
All of the audio and footage that I have of you, I could easily make you look like just a horrible human being.
Way horrible than what I am.
Shit.
Shit.
This month we're kind of back to our regular schedule, I would say, as far as content goes. Weekly episode on Wednesdays. Of course, Patreon stuff is going to be consistent, as I guess it always is, with the pregame chats. And then we are about to start the next season of Samply Irresistible. We just finished the Force from the Floor season.
I was getting ready to sing the song. our lackluster.
We forgot until we were done with this week's episode of Ports from the Floor that it was our season finale. So the next season of Saintly Irresistible is coming up.
One of the best theme songs you could listen to.
I think the best theme song.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you want to go support the show, it's patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. And then at $5 a month, you get bonus content. And during the entire month of August, we are going to have bonus episodes just for Patreon. And they are going to range from us being wild and silly, bringing back something like The Last Call, which I think we have a really, really fun and funny idea for, which is going to be, I can't wait. I think we should get our wives involved for that as well, if we can. If we can get them on board with that.
I think we
that
could
idea.
do something.
But we Eric and I share a birthday in August, so we wanted to kind of go all out for that month and do some special Patreon stuff and do it kind of like a Patreon pledge drive as well, because it is important to have that support, and we do appreciate everybody who does give to Patreon and support Patreon every month, every week. Whew.
Damn,
That would be nice. To just live on Patreon would be great. That's the goal. I mean, honestly, that's the goal, is to like have this be self-sustaining. But then also, and I have not even brought this up to Eric yet. But for over the past couple of years, we have done a month where we have done fundraising for something. And this year we've been doing Movember, which I still love and still hold very dear to my heart, but I wanted to shake it up a little bit this year. And I would like to do, because this is something that also is kind of like the thing that got me into, not activism, I guess, but at least thinking about like taking care of other people, and was something that I don't know, I find it to be important. And that's fundraising for people to have clean water, in whether it be third world countries or, locations within the United States. So if anybody has a charity of choice that falls within those parameters, please let me know. I still am doing a little bit of research to figure out the correct place, the place that I think would be most beneficial for our community to support, and the one that, and I use this, being the church kid growing up and everything, the one that I feel the most led to support as well. So if you have one in mind, please let me know. Shoot me a DM at mybourbonpod or at pritter1792, or you can email the show, thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. I want this, of course, to be, because it is important to have the community back something as well that not only do we at the podcast believe in, but something that people who listen to the podcast also feel like they are invested in, and something that they feel like it is important to them as well. So
I like that.
Are you on board with that? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, growing up where in Eastern Kentucky, there a lot of people had horrible water. Like you would have to get water, boil water, get water from the store just to be able to drink it and everything. Even our water growing up was like, it would, if anybody knows, it would turn like your tub like orange and stuff. Like it was so. We had to put filters on everything and all that. Like that's something that's kind of, growing up that I dealt with myself. So
yeah,
I fully support that.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that over the next couple of months, but be on the lookout for that. I'm thinking, because we're very quickly approaching the 250th episode.
250.
Yeah. So by the time that we get to 250, hopefully we will have something on the books for that, and we'll be able to let you all know and give you enough time to prepare for it, but we've had such great success with our fundraisers in the past, and I want to take it even like a little step further so that we can find ways to thank you, the community, for supporting something that we have put a lot of faith and thought and backing into. So we'll probably incorporate some kind of giveaway and like private tastings and maybe even like, I don't know, like a personal roast video where Eric and I just roast.
Oh, I'll roast the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
And then I'll send you a pair.
Oh, well, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be,
Then I'll roast
tit for tat. But, anyway. Shall we get to the news? We've got a lot of news, Eric. Let's do some news. Is that okay with you?
Let's do some news.
Let's start out with
them, hit on the high ones. We'll talk about it. We'll do our thing.
Let's start out. I think we should start out with something that we kind of briefly talked about in our last episode, but it is just kind of a big shakeup for the bourbon community. Jackie Zykan has left Old Forester. After 7 years, as Go Bourbon says, of playing a key leadership role in the renaissance of Old Forester. And all she said is that she is pursuing other career opportunities. So
don't know if that's bourbon or just something else. Huh?
I don't know. I mean, like, my inclination is to think that she's going the Mary Ann route just because that's a lot more relevant in this day and age, like that kind of opportunity to make money, in a private, kind of capacity. But I think a lot of why Mary Ann is doing what she's doing now is because she didn't feel fulfilled with Castle and Key, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we look at the work that Jackie has done with Old Forester, and surely she feels more fulfilled with that work.
Well, I feel like she was almost the face, of the company there.
Do you think she got burnt out then?
Maybe.
Huh.
I mean, I feel like when you would see posts or see them doing a live stream or, a IG live or something like that, like she always seems like she was just so into it, like picking new barrels. Like the barrel program was just, she'd say it was like her baby and stuff like that. And like, I don't know, like maybe she did get burnt out. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to see her leaving. She was just such a face, not just for Old Forester, but for bourbon in general. And I mean, it's going to be really cool and exciting to see where she goes next. But in the meantime, we are left to speculate, which we will not do too much of right now because we have other things to get onto, including Bardstown Bourbon Company purchasing Green River Spirits. It's a big one.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
It's a big one. You got a distillery that is known for creating sourced bourbon that is purchasing another distillery that is known for making sourced bourbon. So, I mean, we're not
mega powers.
We're not really seeing like how much they're spending on that, and of course, we don't really know what that is going to look like for them as far as future endeavors. But I mean. Between this and what was the other big merger / purchase that Bardstown was involved in recently?
Wasn't it like there was something that didn't somebody like buy them or give them more money? They were from like another state or something like that. People were.
Oh yeah, they got purchased by Pernod.
Yeah,
Pernod Ricard, right? I believe. And initially, that was just so that they had more money to do the things that they wanted to do with their ventures. So I'm imagining that that's kind of also what they're thinking here. But this is a very strange time, I feel like, for distilleries and for bourbon fans because I don't want to see that much consolidation. Personally, that being said, we don't know what things are going to look like. I'm I am hoping and I am strongly imagining that Bardstown is going to allow Green River to continue to do what they are doing, because I do think that they have been very successful over the past year since they have rebranded and since they have put a new product out on the market that better represents what it is that they do at the distillery. So I'm really, really hoping that they just kind of are a little bit more hands-off and just kind of more of like a parent company, maybe in the way that Sazerac is with something like Buffalo Trace or Barton. That being said, Sazerac is not completely hands-off. I mean, they are still funding a lot of, what is going on with those distilleries. But I don't know. How are you feeling about this? Because I feel worried a little bit.
I don't know. Like, I guess with everything going on, like I think we were talking earlier about, the prices of everything. If this gives Green River a chance to make a little bit more money and do a little bit more, I'm happy for them.
Sure.
Like you said, if this is just a way for them to work together, and it gives, because I'm a big fan of what Green River is doing. Like we said, we love that new expression that they put out. And
I still keep coming back to it as something that I'm considering in my top 10 of this year.
A lot of the stuff,
and I can't believe that even at a 90 proof product, that I am still thinking that. And I like, it's almost like being teased, like just the anxiety of it all, like being teased with like, oh, here's something really good, but the court marshal comes and was like, nah, you can't have that. Like, it's just, you thought you had it good.
I think it's just that feeling of something new that we haven't had, that just kind of just immediately you like, and it automatically puts it in that level. You know what I mean? Like it's that new factor, something fresh, and that you may not have expected to be as good. Like when it's good like that, like we both know that, like discovering Curly or something like that, like it's already like it puts it up higher than a lot of other stuff. Yeah. So
you feel kind of like ownership with it almost.
Yeah. You're like, oh, this is my shit right now. Like, like, I don't want it to go. And that's the thing. Like, I don't want it to change. We all worry when people, get bought out, or smaller places, get bought out or merge or whatever, that you're going to lose that stuff that you initially liked, and then you felt like you've lost it to somebody else. So I'm just hoping, like you said, that this is just a way for them to do more things, to make more money, do more expressions and all that. Hopefully it's not just like they get just like crumbled under, they start, getting used in fusions and discoveries and stuff like that, instead of them getting their own labels, I guess.
Well, I imagine that there is some of that is probably already ongoing, that they might already be using some sourced product from. Yeah. I mean, it's not that, Bardstown Bourbon Company hasn't had their own product in fusion and discovery, but I mean, there are certain whiskeys that have gone into these blends that we don't know the exact origin of.
Yeah.
It could have been that it was from Green River and they were already working closely with them, and it was just kind of an inevitable step forward for them.
This is the public statement of them working together and stuff. So I don't know, like kind of like when
this is you got to put a ring on it, kind of.
Yeah, you got to show me. You got to show us in public together. I don't know, like I know like a lot of people in our chat was worried. They're like, oh, they're just they kind of made it sound like they were selling out and stuff like that. But to me, it's like, let's give it a chance. I'm okay with smaller companies making more money, especially now. I mean, we're all trying to make more money. Like everything's more expensive. Everything's harder to get. So let's give it a chance. And hopefully this is just a better opportunity for Green River to give us more good stuff. I don't know.
I was fighting a yawn there. I'm sorry. Bought it. Let's move on to some big news from Heaven Hill. There's a huge leadership change happening right now, or is that, I guess, going to be happening. But Max Shapira, who is I believe the fifth generation of Shapiro family members who have run the distillery is stepping down on September 1st. And he will be passing the presidential torch to his daughter, Katie Latz, and her husband, Alan, as they will be acting co-presidents of Heaven Hill, thus creating... he was the second, and now this is going to be the third generation operating / ownership. Kate and Alan have been with the company since 2001, and Max is actually going to move towards day-to-day operational oversight. He is going to transition that day-to-day operational oversight of the business to Kate and Alan. So I think he's moving to an executive role where he's not being as involved with things strictly, production-wise and everything. But I mean, that's a pretty massive turn. This is kind of like the Beams switching over to the No family at this point, But I look forward to this. I don't have any problem with seeing things stay within the family for Heaven Hill for sure. Four Roses is going to add a $23 million in rickhouse expansions at their Cox's Creek bottling facility. Let's see, that is going to equate to 776,000 total square feet of new housing and 17 new rickhouses. Lots of bourbon.
I'm assuming they're going to be the normal Four Roses rickhouses too, because
I'd be surprised.
Fat ones, right?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they moved away from the single tier. What is it called? I
don't know. Like it's the tier thing.
Here we are with the Bourbon Podcast.
It's the Four Roses stuff.
Yeah.
See? It's Four Roses. See? Yeah.
New Riff has broken ground on a new rickhouse site, citing the fact that last year they expanded their distillery to increase production, so it seems only natural that they are finding new ground to put some of these barrels up.
Oh my God! I just remembered that I got to pick up our new riff, our sherry finished one.
Oh crap!
I still haven't picked it up.
I totally forgot about that too.
Yeah, I need to plan to figure that one out. Okay.
We got like 2 more episodes we got to record over the next couple weeks, so
yeah, noted. See you soon.
Do you want to make a run up to New Riff?
Well, we got to talk about Friday too.
Oh yeah. Dang it, we'll get there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got more rickhouse space.
More New Riff.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ian.
Ian's clicking his heels right now.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah.
Let's talk about some new releases. You ready for this?
Now I'm ready.
Okay, good. Redbreast Kentucky Oak Edition, single pot, still Irish whiskey.
Oh, okay.
101 proof, $96. It's going to be a U.S. exclusive limited release. It was a batch of mature single pot still whiskeys finished for 3 to 7 months in virgin oak barrels sourced from the Taylor family's Elk Cave Farm in Gravel Switch, Kentucky. Woo!
Okay.
All right.
Redbreast, let's go.
I am knocking my microphone over. I like Redbreast, everything that I've had from them so far. So I would be willing to give it a shot. I don't have any reason not to. So here's a big one. Jack Daniel's Coy Hill Small Batch.
Oh my God. This is already in the hands of the people.
Yeah. And we didn't get any. So it's Tennessee only though. And the highest proof, what do we see? We've seen like 150 proof.
155, I think, is the highest.
Yeah, I think so too. But I think
That's
at the
insane.
lowest, it's been like 170 or 170, like 146 or something like that.
It's all hazmat.
It's insane. $55 for a 375. Oh, I want one so badly. I saw one on secondary for $850.
What the hell?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I know.
That's insane.
I know. Michter's 10-year-old rye, the 2022 release. Looks like it's going to be 92.8 proof, $185 a bottle. This is the only 10-year-old rye release that Michter's is planning for this year. It's made with relatively high levels of corn and barley in the mash bill, with the idea of providing more balance and complexity to the spice of the rye grain, according to Andrea Wilson.
That's one of the few Michter's that I really think that is worth every penny that you pay for it.
We got 2 new releases from Stellum. We got the Black Equinox, which is a bourbon from Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Can't do the math on that, but it looks to be about 116 proof, $99 a bottle. Limited 8,400 bottles. And then we have the Fibonacci Rye, which is a blend of straight ryes from Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Looks to be about 115 proof, $99 as well, limited to 9,000 bottles. I'm excited for these. We're actually going to be talking about these on the podcast before too long.
Nice.
So, a little sizzle reel for you there. Few Spirits.
Few. Oh, yeah.
Few, F-E-W.
Yeah.
This one's called Motor Oil.
No. That's a mistake.
That's what it's called. It's an American whiskey from Illinois, non-age, stated 101 proof, $60 a bottle, limited to 1,800 bottles, via Fuse website. And it's a collaboration with the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. So, in honor of their 21st anniversary.
Okay. So,
it's got some reason behind it, but at the same time, I can understand why people being you, I guess. Not excited
well,
about
when you
it.
say motor oil on there.
No, I know. I agree.
But then when you explain that it's like maybe it's like a pig or something, I don't know, and you nicknamed it motor oil, I still would be a little hesitant. But
I understand.
Either way.
I understand. We got a new Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. Non-age stated, 91 proof, $40 a bottle, available nationwide. It's called Silver Belly. The whiskey has a mash bill of 78% corn, 30% rye, 9% malted barley. It's contract distilled at Green River.
Well,
so there you go. Yeah.
There we go. Silver Belly. Interesting.
A new bourbon out of Indiana. Brothers Bond Cast Strength. Straight bourbon. Non-age stated. About 114 proof, $80 a bottle. Maybe closer to 115. I'm bad with math. Made from the same 4-grain recipe as Brothers Bond Bourbon, a 65% corn, 22% rye, and undisclosed percentages of wheat and malted barley. This whiskey was distilled and aged at MGP. Comes from a lot of 70 barrels. This is the Vampire Diaries bourbon.
Yeah.
So
good looking dudes.
We should get them on the podcast.
Yeah.
We'd get a lot of views.
Make me get all the feels.
Here's one for the player in your heart and your life.
The player?
The player. Yeah.
The player?
Sorry.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. This is a straight bourbon from an undisclosed location. Okay. 17 years old.
Oh.
111 proof.
Okay.
Released last month, June. Limited to 1,953 bottles in the U.S. I haven't even told you the name yet.
I hope it's don't hate the player, hate the game.
If I were to tell you that this bourbon was priced at $589.
Oh, God.
What would you think?
17-year-old?
17-year-old. What would you think this was celebrating?
Lord, I don't celebrating.
It's an anniversary. All right, let me back up. This is an anniversary for something that started in 1953.
I don't know. I'm not good with history. There's still fireworks going on.
It's more pop culture than it is history.
Ooh. Mad Magazine?
You're 50% of the way there.
A magazine. Well, hell, there's not too many magazines. I mean, it would have to be like a freaking nudie mag or something, right? Playboy?
Playboy.
Playboy has a bourbon?
Playboy Spirits Rare Hair 1953 Anniversary Edition.
Rare hair?
Almost $600 a bottle. This 17-year-old bourbon was finished in XXO cognac casks for about a year. XXO stands for Extra Extra Old, a relatively new classification that requires cognac to be aged in barrels for at least 14 years. Purchasers will also receive a near-field communication chip that will grant entry to the Rare Hair Society, which offers access to exclusive travel experiences, events, and private barrel releases. So you're not even just paying for the whiskey.
Like
you're paying for the
status?
experience. Yeah, it's like going to the Playboy Mansion, but with a whiskey, I guess. This is weird. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm sending you a picture of the bottle. It's a beautiful bottle.
Is there boobies on there?
No, it's got a rabbit, dude.
Oh, what? It was Playboy? Didn't know.
Fair. I mean, it's a fair question.
Why didn't they use the actual Playboy bunny? That would have been better.
Why didn't they?
That's a jumping rabbit.
Rare hair.
Rare hair.
Rare hair is hard to say, too.
It looks like it's in the Four Roses bottle. The Four Roses.
It kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well,
You want to get some...
Let's get a sample of that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Maybe...
Right.
Never mind. I had no idea what I was about to say there, honestly. Would you stop?
I didn't do anything.
Not you.
Oh.
Daggone microphone stand. You know, it's hard to find good help these days.
What's that supposed to be?
It means my microphone stand won't stay up.
I'm going to go.
I fixed it. It wasn't about you. Jeez Louise. Playboy's got a bourbon. What are we going to do now?
Get a sample. And
that's not the only sample that's come from the Playboy Mansion.
Damn.
Oh. That's our cold open, by the way.
Making donations every month.
Do you want to move on to some TTB labels?
Let's do it.
We got the new Bardstown Bourbon Company Fusion Series, number
Fusion
9.
29. Oh,
No, 9.
Oh.
Okay, it's 96.8 proof. We got a 4-year-old, 48%, Bardstown Bourbon Company, 75% corn, 21 rye, 4 malted barley. We got a 4-year-old in a 22% Bardstown Bourbon Company, 60% corn, 26% rye, 10% wheat, 4% malted barley, and a 30% in the 30%. Jeez Louise, I can't speak. It's a 12-year-old bourbon, 30%. It's 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley. So, turkey. Yes.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Turkey lurkey here, turkey lurkey there. Let's move on to something else. Eric, I think the day has finally come when we've kind of jumped the shark a little bit. We got a Tennessee whiskey.
Okay.
It's called Woo Boy.
Oh, Woo Boy. Got me good on that one.
Do you know why it's called Woo Boy?
Oh, Lord. Why?
Oh, wait, actually, it's just called Woo. Sorry.
Woo.
It's called Woo Tennessee Woo Whiskey. Woo. Sorry, I said it wrong. Woo. Woo.
Is this made in Pigeon Forge or something?
No, it's Ric Flair.
Go-kart? When you're on a go-kart?
Woo boy. No, it's Ric Flair.
Oh. It's woo.
Woo. Yeah, sorry.
Whiskey.
My kid's asleep. I have to be quiet down
I
here.
probably just woke mine up. I'm going to be screwed.
Yeah, sorry. 80 proof. It's got Ric Flair on it. It's pretty funny looking.
Shit, I bought it. It's sold.
Yeah, fair enough.
Is it Dickel?
Doesn't say.
Oh.
We got the new William Heavenhill label. 15 years old, 109 proof small batch.
I bet that's good.
I'm sure it's delicious. Wish we could try it.
Very well.
Speaking of Green River, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Private Barrel Selection. Ooh. 110 proof.
Ooh.
And it looks like, based on the faux label that they've kind of put on the back, this is saying 6 years old. So if that's standard, I will not be upset about that in the slightest.
Sign me up.
I'm here for it. Speaking of single barrel picks, Rittenhouse Straight Rye Whiskey, bottled and bond. Picks.
Nice.
I'm hoping so. At the very least. Bardstown Bourbon Company Discovery Series. This one's interesting.
Number 9.
This is another blended whiskey, 112.5 proof, 35% Georgia 8-year-old bourbon, I think. 80% corn, 10% wheat, 5% rye, 5% malted barley, 31% Kentucky 12-year-old, 75% corn, 13 rye, 12 malted barley, 19% Tennessee 17-year, holy moly, 84% corn, 8% rye, 8% malted barley, and a 15% Ontario 12-year corn whiskey at 100% corn.
Oh, that's all over the place.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's the United Nations of freaking
Discovery
Bardstown
Series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wilderness Trails 6-year bottled and bond Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey.
Ooh, I saw that one on there.
Yeah. Excited about that, of course. It looks like the Williams Horror brand is moving over to a new brand called RD1, which stands for Registered Distillery 1, which was out of Lexington, of course. But there are a few labels. Looks like one is a small batch, one is a finished in French oak, and the other is finished in cherry wood. So we will have to look into that before too long. But then, this wasn't posted too terribly long ago, as of recording. But a limited edition Kentucky Owl 11-year Kentucky Straight Rye, finished 1 year in Bayou Mardi Gras XO rum casks. Carols. I said casks and barrels together.
I like that though, carols.
In celebration of the spirit of Mardi Gras and the pride of Louisiana, this expression of Kentucky Owl Straight Rye Whiskey has been gently aged for 11 years before sleeping a further year in a selection of rare Bayou XO casks to create and mature into a unique rye whiskey of outstanding quality and flavor. Let's check on proof. 102.8 as of right now, but we'll see if that changes. But that does it for the TTB labels.
I got 1 ounce of news.
Oh yeah, your 1 ounce of. What's your 1 ounce of news, Eric?
Taco Bell is ruining Cheez-Its. They just introduced a Cheez-It to the menu that is 16 times bigger than a normal Cheez-It, where they just lay it down there and they put taco meat on it and shit. And they're ruining Cheez-Its now. So make sure you don't buy that and don't support your local Taco Bell. A Cheez-It that's 16 times bigger that they just dump their crap on.
This is part of Eric's ongoing vendetta against Taco Bell.
Yes.
Which stems from a holiday episode. Holiday era episode. I don't know. Whatever.
Holiday time.
Holiday time episode. Thank you. Where Eric... It's very late. Where Eric got slighted by Taco Bell. But that's enough of that. Let's do a little review, shall we?
Let's do it. It's the Smoke Wagon, Uncut the Younger. And that's going to be my probably one of my top 5 commercials for a whiskey on Instagram. I'm just saying, go check that one out.
Just ever.
Uncut the Younger.
Doesn't do what I say.
Uncut the Younger. Oh, Aaron.
So, Smoke Wagon. Do we have an age on this at all?
Well, let's see.
That was beautiful.
I don't see an age.
That's okay.
Aged and distilled, obviously. It's MGP, aged in Nevada. I want to say the normal uncuts are like 8 to 12 batches. Maybe these are like 4 to 6, something like that. Please don't hold me to that, but it's obviously the younger version of the uncut, unfiltered. 57.18 proof. Little gold label there. Looks pretty cool.
Oh, yes, I am of at least 21 years of age.
Yeah, at least 21 years old to drink it.
I pulled up the website. So.
Oh, man. Smells good.
What did you say the proof? You said 57.18 proof? That's not right.
57.8% alcohol per volume or whatever.
It's one.
I can't do math either.
Let me break out the friggin' calculator. It's late, okay?
It is.
I'm just going to keep saying that for everything.
It's late.
It's going to be 8:30 a.m. I'll be like, it's late.
It's late. We're late for everything.
114.36 proof.
114.36. Okay.
So, according to the Nevada Distilling website, this is consisting. It says it consists mainly of 4-year, 36% rye bourbon from several floors and warehouse locations.
Cool. Uncut the Younger.
Just a great video. I find it to smell really sweet.
It smells like marshmallows and graham crackers.
Yeah, I was going like berries and cream, actually.
That cream, yeah, that definitely get it. Like on like a kind of like a strawberries and cream, maybe on like a graham cracker crust. Graham cracker crust.
Oh, and that graham crapper crust.
That graham crapper. That's my next barrel pick. The graham crapper.
Oh.
It's completely different on the palate. It tastes like Kool-Aid.
I'm getting some dark chocolate. Actually, not some. A lot of dark chocolate. Definitely that kind of artificial cherry flavor that you do get with like Kool-Aid or just kind of any like fruit punch drink that's definitely not made to be authentic or real.
Fruit punchy. Yeah, it's definitely like a whole,
It is oaky.
It is.
It is
for
quite
4
oaky.
years. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think I think I've found my favorite Smoke Wagon product.
Is this it for you right now?
This is it for me. I am really, really surprised that at a younger age that this is the one that has done it for me. And I think it just...
Oh, my God.
Having had this in comparison to the older Uncut, Unfiltered... where it's, I mean, and maybe it is over oaked. Maybe there's just something about the Nevada,
the weather,
the dry Nevada heat, that doesn't lend itself super well to my palate. But I really, really like this.
Do you? Okay, I don't know if it's the time we're recording. You know, being asleep, not sleeping or whatever. No, I'm talking about me asleep. Not being asleep. But I'm like, a lot of the stuff I've tasted tonight, like, is instantly like, there's been like times in my life that has popped up in my head. And when we started talking about the fruit punch, and I took another sip, I started thinking about the chocolate you said, and it reminded me of being at like a vacation Bible school, and they give you like those fake Oreos. And you get kind of that weird fake Oreo chocolate mixed with like that really sweet fruit punch.
Yep.
And then there's a little bit of like the cream in there. Dude, that's it. That's Vacation Bible School in a bottle.
Are you looking for the official bourbon of your Vacation Bible School in your Southern Baptist Church?
Uncut the Younger.
Not gonna do what you say.
Oh yeah, dude.
I
That's good.
But it's not lacking like more traditional bourbon flavors, I think. It does. I just I'm struggling with the words because I really do genuinely enjoy this a lot. But yeah, like kind of describing it that way makes it feel a little juvenile. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like going into like, oh, here's all the flavors and everything. But honestly, I don't really care because it is that good. Yeah. It is that good. I will say going back to it, the finish is starting to go a little bit weird for me. Like I almost get these kind of like dry cedar notes.
I can see that.
It's
a different wood.
Yeah, it's a strange, like very dried out wood on the back end of the palate. Not my favorite. I don't hate it, but it's just kind of there for me. Priced at about $50 a bottle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like that. I like it at that price. Of course, I wish that it were, $40 instead. But
pretty good.
I'm not upset with it. I'm not upset with it at all. Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Do you want to go for our full review?
Let's do it.
All right. Nose, palate, finish, and price is how we review things here on the podcast. Each category is out of 5. Final score is out of 20. You can multiply by 5 if you want to know what the final score for us each is out of 100. Hondo. One hundo.
Man, okay. What you got?
Nose is a 3.5 for me. Going back to it, I'm even getting some deeper, like, black pepper notes on there, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very multi-layered
When
nose.
I went back through it, it's a little bit more spicy nose and palate to me.
Yeah. I kind of wish that it leaned a little bit more towards... And I mean, it's not going to because it's in a completely different place, but just the more traditional bourbon flavors. But at the same time, I think that this really stands out nose-wise as being something that is not your run-of-the-mill kind of Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah.
So 3.5 for me on the nose.
Man, you took my answer. 3.52. Already topped it out before you said it. I love that. I still get a little bit of that MGP graham cracker on there, but then there's this kind of strawberry-ish cream cheese type thing that goes with it. It's like almost like a cheesecake on a graham crapper crust.
A lot of the graham cracker comes out for me on the palate.
Yeah.
What do you say on the palate?
Dude, I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 3.5 again.
I think that it's different to me on that first sip on the palate, but then it gets more spicy the second time around. But like the fact that it took me back to like
for
Oreos
sure.
and fruit punch and stuff, like, dude, I dig it. Like I give it a 4.
I get it. Finish is the only thing I don't like on this.
I'll agree.
I gave it a 1.5. It just goes so weird and like kind of like artificial sugary on the back end. I don't know if that's just something that's a characteristic of the products that might be aging out in that climate. It's the only part of it where I just don't really get on board with it. But
that was my low score.
1.5.
I gave it a 2.5. So
yeah. Price though, $50 a bottle. I mean, this is a really, really good. It's a really good bourbon, man. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 again.
I'm the same. I topped it out there. I got a 13.5 overall. I mean, it's good. This is like,
I think that puts me at a 12.5.
Yeah, you were just a little bit under with the proof and all the notes you get and stuff. Like, I think it's worth $50.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think this would be really fun to blind people with.
Yeah,
as well. It definitely runs more towards being a non-Kentucky bourbon. I mean, it doesn't read to me like anything that would be from Kentucky. That being said, I'm gonna have to buy a bottle. I think if you see this, you should probably buy one as well.
I am gonna just echo you and say, yeah, I'd grab this one if it's still available. So, Uncut the Younger,
just so good, so good. All right, Eric, what do you got for me with tips and bits?
Man,
this is the segment of the show, by the way, where we recommend things to people. It doesn't have to be bourbon related, but
I've got so much. I'm going to do kind of a quick thing here. So Stranger Things just wrapped up. Perry hasn't watched it yet, and I know he's going to, so I'm going to save all that. But I will say, coming off the first part of Season 4, I know I said it was kind of back and forth all over the place, but they wrapped it up very nicely. Season 4, Part 2, the 2 episodes are some of the best. It's Stranger Things. You'll cheer, you'll cry. It's good shit.
Nice.
I've been watching The Boys. I'm going to save that because the season's almost over. I'll do a little recap when I see the finale of that.
I have not yet watched the first 2 seasons. And the only reason is because initially Lucy and I said we were going to watch it together. I don't know if that's still the case. If it's not, I'm probably just going to binge through the first 2 seasons and then get caught up as well.
The Boys, if you love comic book movies or shows, The Boys is it's that show that is like that guilty pleasure. You're like, what happens when they have a show that just does not give a shit about what goes on? I read the comics way before the show came up, and I know that sounds like, oh, he's a comic book nerd. I'm just saying, like, I already liked the story before this. Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson. It's amazing. It's what if superheroes were just assholes, basically.
Yeah.
So I think season 3 is about over on. It's on Amazon Prime.
I think they have one more episode left as of recording.
Yeah, it's almost done. Yeah. So that's that.
Apparently the new season of Umbrella Academy is really good, too.
I'm in the middle of that one, so that's
Did you
another
say
one
that already?
No, not yet tonight.
Okay,
but
sorry.
I've talked about Umbrella Academy before. We both were talking about Miss Marvel. I think that's the same thing. I'll talk about that if you mention it. And then last...
I'll wait to talk about Miss Marvel. Because we talked about it when it first came out, and then I think briefly again. But I'll wait to discuss it more with you.
Right. And the last thing for this week, I got the new Ninja Turtles game on Switch, Shredder's Revenge, and it's absolutely just made me like I couldn't put it down. Like it's like a mix of all the old arcade games and Super Nintendo games of Ninja Turtles, but they've added combo moves. You can now play as Splinter and April in it. Each level has objectives you can do, like destroy so many robots and do all this. There's little side missions, and like when you go to each level, like it takes you back and it looks like the original Ninja Turtles game on NES, where the turtle van is going to like different spots and stuff. Like it does that. It's so good. And I'll give a shout out to our buddy Clifton, Bourbon Bites. He also talked about this game on an episode where he did our Nulu pairing.
That's right, he did.
So that is a really fun episode on Clifton's podcast, Bourbon Bites podcast, where he got him a honey bunny and paired it with the Nulu.
He even named that episode the way that I do episodes of the podcast, which made me really happy.
He shouted out all of us. Was very nice, very good review, very good pairing, and then he also talked about this Ninja Turtles game. So I'll recommend that game and Clifton's podcast.
That episode of the podcast.
Yes, Bourbon Bites podcast.
Well, just, the podcast as a whole, for sure. I got a few things as well, because we're getting caught up, of course. Video game wise, I have been playing Star Wars Jedi Academy for the first time. I love it and hate it all at the same time because the controls are absolutely abysmal and not reactive at all. But the story is really fun. It follows a couple of new Padawans along with Luke Skywalker, who has founded the new Jedi Academy, and Kyle Katarn, what was his first appearance? I can't remember.
I think it was was it a comic or a book or something?
Maybe, yeah. But he's that old extended universe canon from Star Wars. I hope he comes back. I think he's a really interesting character, really fascinating. But this game is wild and just all over the place, and there are a couple moments where I kind of figured out where the story was going. I think about at this point 75% of the way through the game, maybe closer to 80. But I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm really enjoying it. I was in the middle of a mission, and I said to Lucy, I guess this is a spoiler for a game that came out like 20 years ago, but I said to Lucy, I made myself a yellow lightsaber, and I think I regret it. And within the next mission, I lost my lightsaber. So I got to make a new one.
Have you played Knights of the Old Republic?
No, I have a bunch of those old Star Wars games on my Switch that they, re-released and everything.
I was going to say, I downloaded that on the Switch.
Force Unleashed, Jedi Knight 2, Knights of the Old Republic. I actually never played the Pod Racer game either when I was growing up, so I might even have to get into that. I'll recommend one more thing just so we can get out of here, because it is late and I am starting to feel the effects of drinking and being up this late. But We watched the movie that led to the slap heard round the world.
Ooh.
Which was Summer of Soul, directed and produced by...
I thought you were going to say G.I. Jane.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Summer of Soul, directed and produced, I guess, by Questlove of The Roots.
Yeah.
Talking about the Harlem Roots Festival, I think is what it was called, in 1969. It was the same summer that Woodstock was happening. Quite a, not too terribly far away, about 100 miles away, I think. Some of the best performances I've ever watched on film, standout performance, and I this is earlier on in the movie, and there's so much more to behold, but Stevie Wonder performing a drum solo.
Oh, wow.
Which I didn't know he could do. I did not know that he could play the drums. But he does it so phenomenally well that I could barely make words for a couple minutes.
Really?
I was so in shock. Yeah. Nice. I'm not even kidding. So, go watch that. It's good. And I hope you ate a hamburger and a hot dog and plenty of good grilled food and watched rockets, red glares exploding over your city skylines.
And then you exploded it in your bed.
In a toilet.
I'm just.
Wow, dude, come on.
What?
That's fine.
That's a good way to end the night too.
It is a good one. You're right. Anyway, that does it for this week's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. Eric, can you wrap us up and bring us home and let the people know what they can do to support us and where they can find us?
You know what, Perry? I think I can do that. If you want to help the show,
I'm gonna take a nap while you do that. By the way,
okay. Support the show. You can go to patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. You can support the show, and at $5 you get all the uncut stuff and the bonus episodes. Bonus. All the extra stuff Perry has to kind of edit, but he doesn't. He just throws it up there. That, just extra work for Perry. Go support it. He'll do more work for you. And I'll just add to the conversation. If you want to send us an email for a question, a comment, a pairing, a sample, anything like that, send an email to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. If you want to buy some merch, it's bourbonshop.threadless.com. If you want to leave a message for the Barrel Ring segment, which is a little segment where you give us a voicemail and we play it on here and we reply to it on the air.
We haven't had one in so long.
Yeah, do that. Somebody do it. 859-428-8253. Then on all social media, it's at MyBourbonPod. You can follow the show. You can follow Perry at PRitter1792. You can follow me at Whiskey Mutant. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. And then the show is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, do it. Perry's putting more stuff on Instagram, too. Making little videos of It's Bourbon Night. I saw him. Little Chad. Little Chad
was cracking me
about
up.
This big, little Chad. Then go to YouTube.
We can apparently we can get those made.
Yeah, you can. Oh, I've seen them. They had them at Comic-Con. You stand in the thing and it goes around you and takes all these pictures, and you can add accessories if you want. It costs more, I think, if you add accessories. So if you wanted to hold a bourbon bottle, it would cost more than that. And then on YouTube, this is My Bourbon Podcast. Perry goes live every Thursday night at 8. I try to join him at least once a month, and then all the shows are going up there now with the bonus episodes. So you can do that, and then just review the show, tell people about the show.
Yes, we have a couple of reviews. We have a couple new reviews.
And a new Patreon member, right?
And a new Patreon member. That's true. Yeah. Our first review, 5 stars from KU Mon. Says, awesome. Really loving this podcast. I like how Eric and Perry don't just talk about bourbon or whiskey. It really puts a fun twist on a bourbon podcast. Can't wait to see what fun things you two come up with next. And we also have a 5-star review from Arsenal 4040. It says, fun little bourbon podcast. It's got bourbon, it's got interviews, it's got geekery, and it's got my cousin, Perry Ritter.
Oh, who's that?
I think it's Todd Ritter.
Geekery.
Todd,
I like that.
Yeah, anyway. Thanks, Todd. I think this is you. Seriously, though, I'm jumping on this train late, but it's an entertaining bourbon podcast that everyone interested in bourbon should check out. And then we do have a new patron.
I knew he was going to do this eventually. Like, that's finally
I had to get there. But this guy is at our $5 a month tier, which means he gets all the bonus content that other listeners of the podcast at the tier do. This is Brandon Stevens. Brandon, thank you so much for joining the Patreon. Patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast.
I saw him at the deli the other day.
Really? What was he getting?
Very thinly sliced roast beef. Thin, like straight thin. Like, I was like, who is this guy? Like, he is like playing it up. Like, he's not. It's not even on like the scale that they slice the stuff on.
Right.
He had his own scale, and he said he was making the best roast beef sandwiches in all the land. And I was like, man,
wow.
I was like, so I told him, I was like, do you ever have roast beef and bourbon? He's like, yeah, all the time. I was like, well, you should listen to our podcast. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And then he told me the secret selection of get the perfect sliced roast beef. I'm not going to tell it on there because he told me to keep it a secret. So
you're also taking credit for this new patron.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
It really seems like you meet a lot of our patrons at grocery stores.
Mm-hmm. We all got to eat.
You're right. That's very true. Yeah. Well, Brandon, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it.
The Patreon. Thank you to everybody who supports the show, not just through Patreon, but by listening every week. And if you are listening to the show at this point, that means you've done it. You've made it through another episode.
You did it.
Which, God bless you. You did it. You
did
trooper.
It. Congratulations.
You trooper. You absolute hero. We're going to erect a monument for you, and we're going to celebrate you. But in the meantime, that does it. Thank you guys so much. Next week, not sure just yet, because our recording schedule is still wild and crazy.
There'll be something, though.
There will be something. We'll see you guys real soon. Until next time, I'm Perry. I'm Eric, going to bed. And this is my Bourbon Podcast.